Facebook Live 171, In Search of Awesome. Tonight, very special guest, 22 years old, L1, Rachel Starks from Vivid Hair Salon, Atlanta, Georgia. She is the first of hopefully many innovators that are pioneering this brand new, it's not even a trend yet, it's unprecedented, called doing FaceTime consultations, blowing up your referrals. You are going to absolutely love what she has to say. Let me tell you why I invited her on. She's got a great story. She starts at Vivid Hair in 16 at the desk, couple of years at the desk, decides to go to school because she can see, and she's around some really awesome people. Look at first full year on the chairs. As a matter of fact, I think she got on the floor not too long ago. She is trending to have a $55,000 first full year behind. I think we're getting close to a record. Back in the good old days, like a year ago, a 40,000, 45 was a lot. She's blown it up 5 days a week. Level 1, 22 years old. Average service day is about 400. Average service ticket is just under 100. Her haircut prices that are at 52. Look at, she's doing, probably she's going to do somewhere between 120 to 150 referrals in the next 365 days. So she's blowing it up, and her rebook rate continues to climb as she's doing so. She's going to tell you the story, so I don't want to get too much into it, but she graduates high school in 15, decides to do hair school in 17, starts as an associate in 2018 when she gets out of school, and and as I said, her first year last year was 21.5. She's going to more than double it in her trend this year. So she's just like blowing it up big time. You are going to want to hang out with her on Instagram. It's starks.hair. She's got just over 400 followers. Uses the iPhone XS. XS. She's also probably got a third of her followers, which is well over 100, are her guests, so that when she's posting, her guests are seeing her content, and no, wait, there's more, those people that follow her guest, and that's really the source of not only her referrals, but where they all start on her FaceTime consultations, which she'll tell you about. She is in our green room now. I'm going to go back and get her, and then we're going to get her talking about the story, and then I'm going to really get her talking about FaceTime consultation. There she is. Why don't you give it up for you guys?
What's up? Hi, everyone.
Did you hear me bragging on you?
Yeah, just a little.
Right, and your world, your fan club's watching, Liz watching, and
Yeah.
and your coach is watching, and so it's really wonderful to have you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, we always like to get started in the story, because the story inspires people, Rachel. So tell us, who is Rachel Starks, and what was she doing before, and what inspired her to like get on this trajectory?
Yeah, so I actually started here at Vivid when I was still in high school. And when I was in high school, I did a lot of arts and music. I was in a band and kind of wanted to figure out a path that was still creative, but I could make money. And I kind of knew I wanted to go in this direction. So I started at the front desk at Vivid, and I was just around so many amazing, beautiful people and such a great support system that it really allowed me to flourish.
And so you decide that you're going to pivot and do a beauty school, and then didn't you tell me that you were like going to school during the day, working at nights, doing part-time something, and decided that no, I want to get this thing handled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you when you get to the place that you're at, and you were doing some band work. You were in a band, singer, inspiration. You're an artist. So what got you inspired? There's always the part in the story where something happens that makes a difference, and somebody sees, and all of a sudden their trajectory goes almost vertical. What was yours?
I think it was really starting working in the salon and just being around so many great people and seeing how inspiring they were,
Yeah, it's almost like we become like those we hang out with most, and
Yeah,
they become a vision of what's possible. Sounds like that's what happened for you.
totally.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you're only 22 and you're like going this way. So, like a year or
Yeah.
so, you're just, you're getting through life, and now your income, you're at an income level that frankly take, your typical hairdresser, assuming they're really on the game, 5, 6 years, you're trending that in your first year. What's it like to be you now compared to how it was a couple of years ago? What are you able to do? How's this changed you?
I mean, it's definitely very nice. I'm looking into buying a house right now, kind of figuring that out. I'm just trying to make everything outside of the salon as nice as possible so that my energy can be here.
I know it's almost like the experience that you're having is freaking you out.
Yeah, a little bit. It's weird.
So, where do you go from here? Where do you see yourself doing in the next 365 days or so?
I have a few classes coming up next year that will hopefully get me on the path to becoming an educator. I would really, really love for that to happen within the next few years. Maybe not next year, but year after.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So there's going to be a boatload of people are watching tonight. There's going to be a whole bunch of people watching this over the next few days, few weeks on YouTube, my Instagram TV channel, and they're looking at you. They're listening to you. They're getting inspired by. They can relate to you. They can identify with you, but they're in a place where you used to be, and you're standing in a place where they hope to be. Might
Right.
you say to them that would like inspire them to like go for what you're receiving?
You have to believe in yourself and be confident, especially when you're interacting with clients, and through Instagram, um, and being very active on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media you prefer, or all of them preferably, and doing FaceTime.
That was a great setup, great on ramp. So I follow you, and your Instagram page is nothing short of extraordinary. You've got some great work in your grids. You do some really innovative things on your highlights, and I'm assuming that a lot of potential, either your clients or the people that follow your clients see that, and they want to come in. But you have this thing called FaceTime consultations, and
Yes.
you're the first person we've had on to really tell us how you're developing, innovating, incubating that. So what is that, and how did it get started, and how do you use it, and how does it work?
Yeah. So say you have a client that lives really far away or is very busy, or just does not have the time to come in multiple times before a visit. Well, then you can FaceTime them and have a consultation that you would normally do in salon, which allows a lot more flexibility. And you can basically execute the same thing you would be doing, if not better, over the phone.
Yeah, it almost, because it's new, it's never been done before. As I'm learning from you, as you're telling me kind of how that first and foremost, it for potential clients that their drive time is like far, and they don't want to come in for 2 visits so that they can get it handled on FaceTime. The other is, it sounds like you've almost discovered a new on ramp to kind of wade into the shallow end of the pool, where you're meeting each other before they show up, and you have a great understanding about, assuming that they like what their experience on a FaceTime consultation is extraordinary. It's almost like the momentum is built before they show up.
Totally. Yeah. They're not going to no-show you because you have had interactions already. They've learned who you are as a person. They now care about not, no-showing you, and they care about being there for their appointment, and you kind of get to know each other a little bit.
Well, I love what you just said, because, a lot of people are afraid to do things like this because the no-show factor can be high. And what you were telling me is there's something about personal contact and FaceTime. We're looking at each other. Yeah. We're talking about something that's relevant to both, that you're saying that's just not an issue for you.
Right. Or less of one than if they were to just call the front desk and schedule an appointment for whoever's available, at the bare minimum. You're getting a lot more interaction with them.
So you're saying you actually have a much, much higher success. They show up once they're booked on a FaceTime consult versus somebody that just randomly calls the salon because they saw something interesting, maybe on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
Maybe
new
on
people
your Instagram. Yeah.
can almost be all bets off, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when the other thing I wanted to ask you is like how do you like when they're in the salon in real time you have the mirror, you're touching hair, you're working with each other in front
Right.
of the mirror.
It's very
How
physical.
does that change up when it's you and them looking at each other on FaceTime?
Well, so for a start, I go through their whole Instagram and look at their hair from every angle of every photo they've ever posted of themselves. So I do a little bit of stalking.
So what you're saying, you'll go to their Instagram page to see what you can find on them as it relates to their hair.
Yes, before, and then during, I might have them, go in different lighting and show me their hair in different light and kind of pick it apart so I can see at least visually what it looks like. You might not be able to tell the integrity of the hair from feeling it or something like that, but basically you get the idea of what their hair is doing, what it's looking like.
Right.
And
well, you're saying something really key. So you're saying if you've got a FaceTime consultation scheduled, you'll go to their page, look and see how much hair you can find on their page, so it kind of like catches you up to them. You haven't even started inquiring, and you've already done some due diligence on them.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're saying as you're talking to each other, you'll have them actually walk around in natural light so you can see. So your mobile is basically the mirror.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I love it. So at some point, and I was going to ask you, how many times would you have a consultation where somebody is holding on to another device and maybe they're on your Instagram page looking at your work, or the salon's page, where now in real time you're using two other platforms as your, almost like a digital lookbook? Does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. They might send you a photo of something that you did from your Instagram as a reference, or you can, while you're on the phone, go and text each other some photos or message each other through Instagram some photos of what goals are, whether it's from your Instagram, somebody else's Instagram, or Pinterest or whatever.
Wow. So you'll actually in real time, as they're on FaceTime, you're on FaceTime, but you'll go, hey, let me text you something, and they can still hear you. Get off of FaceTime, go on their text, look at a picture, or vice versa. So you guys are like texting back, you're texting content back and forth to each other while you're FaceTiming, and you're doing this all on the same mobiles.
Yes. And it's pretty easy.
Oh my God. So, well, how about the money stuff where you kind of come close to, okay, here's a look, here's a picture, here's a direction, here are the services that this is going to involve, and at some point we start talking money. How's that work?
Well, I think that's kind of the goal, is to be able to figure out, for clients most of the time, is to figure out how much it's going to cost to get their goal hair. And so you can kind of discuss what they've done in the past with their hair, where they are currently, and what it's going to take to get them to the place they want to be. And you can work through that with steps, multiple visits, whatever you want to do, but you can pretty much get a number or a general idea.
I'm loving this conversation, Rachel, because what you're saying is, look, here is, if you're going to go do the whole deal, like right now, here's the big number. If that doesn't work for you, here's almost like a beauty budget. We can look at this as a project over visits. Absolutely. But somewhere in the conversation, you land on a number, so now we both know what the number is going to be around, so there's no surprises when they come in.
Yes.
I love it. So, and what you're saying, like you're trending somewhere between 10 to 15 referrals a month. How many of those referrals would you say kind of are coming from the process that we're having a conversation with, about seeing your work on your page, scheduling FaceTime consultations? Like, how big of a factor is this for your referrals?
I would say most of them are probably coming from that. A few are still coming word of mouth, that will never stop. But I would say most of them are coming from my Instagram.
And how
And
long have you been playing with FaceTime consultation?
not very long, maybe just a few months. Yeah, not very long at all.
And what's your guests tell you about the experience? Because it's got to be new for them.
Yeah, they love it. One in particular, she's great. She was like, "Oh, I love it. I'm so busy. I can't ever make it into the salon hardly. So to come in for a consultation is a whole nother thing." She'd been doing her hair herself for a long time, just out of need. And it really allowed for her to feel comfortable, A, with me, and B, to fit into her schedule.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You're blowing up my page because a lot of people are saying this is a great idea. Getting on the same page before they even show up. Are there any other comments you want to make about questions? And I might even invite the viewer, if you got any questions and you want to ask, this would be the time to do it. But are there any other points that you would tell somebody like yourself to be aware of if they're going to add this to their chairside manner?
I would definitely do your homework before you talk to them. Go look and see what their hair looked like. You know, the last few times they got it done, you can tell when somebody got their hair done, and maybe they posted it. Maybe they put box color on their hair and then, you know, it's faded. So it doesn't look like they had box color on their hair, but you can tell. And, you know, just do your homework.
Well, you're saying something really key too. Sometimes the consultation, the nature of it is you're correcting something that went south.
I do a lot of color corrections. Yeah.
So, and this is key. I didn't even ask you about this. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
So you're saying, because you're branding that as you're doing this, you're kind of getting branded as somebody that specializes in color correction, and all of a sudden, then it becomes real relevant. The FaceTime consultation becomes almost a piece of color correction.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Liz is saying, don't be nervous. Rachel was nervous the first time, and now she's the bomb.
Yeah, don't be nervous. It was weird. And now I'm on Facebook Live, so I think it's just, once you do it, it's easy.
All right, so before I let you go, I'm compelled to ask you, I gotta put this over here, that you do some really interesting highlights, and you've got something called Client Love, and I want you to talk about that, because it looks like you're using some of the filters on Instagram stories.
Yeah, totally. I love to use all the little GIFs and everything and make it cute, and also just to add a little style to it. I don't know. And I love to do the Client Love because I love it when my clients post me and stuff. And I want them to know that I love it. And that also gets me more referrals. So the more they know you love it, the more they'll do it.
So it almost looks like this is also like some nitroglycerin that you pour on your little bonfire that drives your FaceTime consultation. So you got a handful of some really innovative stuff that works for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
it's been working, that's for sure.
Well, before we give it up for you and let you go, you and I were chatting before this, and I asked you, would you consider doing a FaceTime consultation in live on when your guest is in the chair, and we'll Zoom you in, or I should say, we'll Zoom in on you so that the world can watch you do this?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So what I'm going to promise to viewers tonight is that you and I will get in touch with each other tomorrow. Find a day that's most convenient for you, an hour of the day. You'll kind of get something scheduled, and then we'll Zoom in so that they can actually watch FaceTime consultation, which is probably one of the most innovative things I've seen as of late on social media.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks a lot. I know you've had a long day. I'm going to let you get home, get some rest. You did great. You just crushed it.
Awesome.
We made history tonight. Give it up one more time for Rachel Starks. For you guys.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you later. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Well, good night.
You guys, you got to give it up for her one more time, because she she really crushed it. I'm just gonna pull pull it up on my studio here. I mean, because she really kind of gave her blueprint, her GPS, if you will, of FaceTime consultations, and I just loved how she made that work for her. And what she said is, we're going to bring her back, and probably in the next few days, and I'll post on my page so that we can zoom in and actually watch her do a FaceTime consultation as well. So give it up one more time. She just did awesome sauce. So if you enjoyed tonight, one of the and you're like new to our conversation, I'd like to invite you to continue to hang out with us. This particular page, as you can see, has almost become a learning channel for salons and spas that really want to learn how to use digital more strategically to blow up their clientele. Use digital, the digital experience. I mean, think about it, guys. FaceTime consultation is a brand new experience for the guest. It's almost like we're doing the consultation before the guest even shows up. So she's on it. I think it's unprecedented tonight. I think it's going to go from unprecedented to precedent to a trend, and probably by this time next year, it's going to be norm. So we're gonna stay in it big time. My handle on this page is Michael Cole Summit. I have an Instagram platform, Michael Cole Summit, as well. Tonight's interview, we will cook that down to about a 5 or 6 minute micro learning, and we will place that on our IGTV channel on Michael Cole Summit. So make sure that you check that out. The other thing I'd like you to check out is, if you haven't been hanging out on summitsalon.com, go there. There's just too much really cool resource that really supports the conversation we're having tonight. That on that.com, we have a brand new, this is our Bible, the Social Digital Script Guide. So it's got scripts, and it's got the best practices on how to use every aspect of social media for referrals, to fill openings in your book, and it's supported by our social digital planner. So if you went to that.com and just did that, you'd be doing yourself a very big favor. We've got another .com, summitsalon365.com. It has become, I call it it's our Netflix. So it's not a pay-per-view, it's a subscription site, but we 24/7, 365. We've got all of a lot of our video content that's a little bit more advanced, especially if you're a salon owner. We've got 3 or 4 programs there that I want you to look into. One of them is one that I've just produced called the Social Digital Guest Experience. So that's summitsalon365.com. Get hooked to that. You'll love it. More and more of our coaching services now are virtual. They're happening online. So you can call us at 800-718-5949 to get a free consultation, a digital consultation at no charge to you, to find out what we do. We have many virtual courses that you can enroll in. We do one-on-one coaching, and it's become a very big part of how we roll. So I hope you look into that. All of our Facebook Lives are recorded. So this was 171. So if you went to Michael Cole Summit on YouTube, you would see all of our lives. They've all been edited. They've all been curated. They've all been sequenced. And this is at no charge. So I really do hope that you take us up on it. On our .coms as well, you can now use our mobile calculators that calculate how much money you need or want to earn in any given year. It breaks it down to what you need to do on a typical day. We call it your magic day, so that we can show you how to use social media to hit that goal. So I hope you take us up on the calculators as well. A Measure What You Treasure app. It's our tracking app. Again, it's free. It's in the cloud, and it really shows you, it's hooked up to our level charts so that you can start measuring what you treasure. It tells you when you are ready for a price increase. So again, this is all compliments. You should be on the .com taking advantage of it. And why you say that we're able to do this as a gift of good faith? Because this is our sponsor. Summit Salon Business Center is the exclusive salon business partner of L'Oreal Professional. Here are all of L'Oreal's brands. When you buy get your clients to use these brands. It puts all of us in a position where L'Oreal can continue to support us. It's almost like public TV, where we're able to bring you like really potent content because you're supporting them. It's like it's for the good of all and the harm of none. So please, please, please support the brands, and the brands are extraordinary. You know, from Redken to Pulp Raya to Mazzani to Matrix to Baxter, Biolage, SE, Kerastase, Shoe. These are all of our brands, and we just love them. And thank you, L'Oreal PPD, for supporting us. Also, what supports the brands is the Salon Centric is our distribution arm, in addition to State Beauty Supply and RDA ProMart. So thank you to them as well. It's been a great show. I hope you enjoyed everything that we did tonight.